Today we're going to talk about common myths. All right. Oh, photography after hours. We're back here at the Parkwood Photography Studios with our new rug and our guest here again, Stephen. Welcome. So I wanted to introduce everyone. We have Stephen Van Herpen, Susie Taylor, Scott Alec, and my name is Nick. And we are here as the crew today talking about common myths that you see out there. First of all, we want to talk about PAC. PAC does photo walks and all this other cool stuff. Go check out the website at photoadvclub.com. So myths. So we've been talking about stuff that we see on, Facebook groups and all kinds of stuff on the PAC boards and all these excuses, as Susie keeps calling them.
Yep.
Scott's calling them myths, and we wanted to kind of maybe debunk some of these.
We're myth busting.
We're myth busting. Yeah. Now we're going to get sued. I'm pretty sure it's
Copyright
copyright
infringing.
Why?
So we're gonna try to debunk some of these.
The word was around before the show.
Well,
anyway.
That's a myth.
Now we have an awkward silence.
That was a myth.
I was trying to follow that conversation. I got lost in it.
All right, so one of the myths that we've been hearing out there is that the pros are better than amateurs out there, and I agree.
Yeah.
Really?
They're way better.
Yeah.
Pros
That's
are
why
so
they
much better
charge
than
cost so
amateurs.
much, yeah.
So we're done. All right, we're moving on. So what do you guys think about this? Pros out there, does it make a difference? I guess we have to define what a pro is, and really the definition I hear most.
What's the definition of better, first of all?
Let's define what pro is. So pro is someone that makes money with photography. It doesn't necessarily mean they're better or not.
Someone
it means
who
they're
does it as a living.
Yeah.
as a living.
Someone who,
I'm not even sure you could qualify it as living. I know lots of pros
Yeah.
that have
Well, yeah,
full-time
but
jobs.
See, that's
so.
that's the whole point. The point is that you've got people who are out there making a lot of money doing photography, and they're not necessarily the best photographers, but they're making a lot of money.
Yep.
And here you've got amateurs who do it as hobbyists or whatever, their passion or whatever, and they're phenomenal photographers, but they don't make a dime off of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Or they think that they're not as good as a pro because they're not a pro. And that's the misconception.
There's some great amateurs out there and
Yeah.
great people that just have a passion for shooting and get amazing work.
We have people in the club that shoot with just entry-level cameras, consumer type gear, and get some outstanding shots and have just a natural eye for framing and for the moment, capturing the moment, expressions on people, things like that. And I don't think that there's a division between pro and amateur. That's a gift.
Yeah, it's just having the eye for it.
Yep.
So
It's not
So
an
we're
important
debunking
distinction.
that,
in
or-
myth
terms-
busted.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's busted.
you're gonna get us sued. I don't know him. The hat is just here.
That excuse is dead. There we go.
That excuse, excuse
yeah.
busted. Susie jumped the gun on this one. So better gear equals better photos? Not necessarily, right?
Oh, absolutely. No.
So we were just talking about drones just recently, and you have little GoPros on them, and you could do 4K video with these and stuff, and some people do get good results from it.
They do.
So better gear doesn't necessarily mean better photos generally.
No, actually, I know a lot of top-end professional photographers, and you look at their gear, and it's like this hack, do-it DIY stuff that they built in their garage, and they make it work. They make the most amazing stuff out of it. I mean, you know.
You can do it with an iPhone. So if you have an eye for photography, you can go out there and frame stuff up and get a great photo. Most of my iPhone photos get more likes than my real photo. Like the Zion pictures, I'll put it up and get 100 likes, and then I'll put the real photo that I took like an hour to edit, and it'll get like 3 likes. So,
Are you learning anything from that? Or?
just throw the camera away. We don't need this.
You don't need that
Next
gear.
episode, new 5D Mark III for sale.
For sale.
Yeah, but I don't think that you need to, you can't solve the problem with better gear. And I think we've probably mentioned this before. It's what?
The logo just went flip.
Hi.
Look into the light.
That's supposed to be on.
I did. Everyone, this is not my fault. I did all the right. I did everything.
You
I
did.
like it.
This is like for your viewing pleasure as we go on. We're now sponsored by the Twilight Zone.
Mood lighting. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee.
Well, we interviewed Pam at the,
Yeah.
and you look back on some of the videos, we interviewed Pam about her gear, and she's got a phenomenal eye for photography, and she's working with basically a glorified point and shoot that she works with and gets amazing pictures. And I can only imagine how great she's going to be when she does get a big camera in her hands and can really, leverage what she wants to with all the settings and everything.
It's like, sorry, go ahead. It's the analogy that came to mind was, it's as if I swapped my golf clubs with like Tiger Woods or somebody, he's still gonna play a great round of golf and I'm gonna screw up his clubs. Like, it's just, it's not the gear.
Yeah. And what you were saying before Susie rudely cut you off, and
She kind of made the point, but I know several photographers on my end of town, one of whom only does dog photos. She's like the dog whisperer. She uses a point and shoot, little Canon. I don't think it costs more than $150. And she's getting very good quality. She's able to work with the critter, so it's not the camera, it's the operator.
Critter, the little quadruped, the little thing that just runs around.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
The gremlin.
The ones that will not do what I ask them to, but they look at her and go, "Whatever you want, you got it, babe."
so one of the other, so we're kind of busting that one then. You don't need great gear, and so again, some of the people have great cameras out there that can't take a picture. Like, I've used it often with a commercial excuse. People are like, "Oh, you have a big camera, so you're a commercial photographer, or you need to pay us a fee." And it's like, well, my dad can afford a way more expensive camera than me, but he can't take a picture necessarily that's up to the same quality as me. So, or he's not a pro, he just can afford a $5,000 camera where I can't. So does that make him a pro?
The thing is that I actually find a lot of hobbyists who actually have better equipment than the pros, because if you think about it,
they're retired and have the
well,
money.
Either that or they have like a real job,
Yeah.
And,
They have a job that
and they
pays
actually
money.
are making
They make money.
Yeah.
So they got money to burn, and then you've got this, struggling poor photographer who's trying to make it, and he can barely afford, batteries.
So next up, we have Kickstarter for all of us to buy new gear.
Well, there's that standard joke: how do you make $1 million in photography? Start with 2.
Start with $2 million.
Yep.
Exactly. So our next one is photography a glamorous type of business? So we hanging out with models and superstars and Beyonce all the time.
Every single day. It's just, we wake up around noon, and hang out with celebrities and famous people, and then, we might throw in a little bit of photography every once in a while.
Right, it's nothing but pool parties
yeah,
all
it's
the
just
time.
pool parties
and
and just, it's just
Exactly like you see it on TV all the time.
exactly.
Yeah, DJs too. I did that
And-
for 20
and-
years.
Myth confirmed.
All right, so moving on.
No, but the reality is that there's nothing glamorous about it. I mean,
Totally distracted by like the just trippiness
The
behind your
trippiness
head.
you have to haul in your own equipment,
Yeah.
tens and tens of pounds. I mean, it's like 40, 50.
Tons of
Well, I don't want to say hundreds of pounds, because it's not quite hundreds of pounds.
20
But
pounds.
it's like, my backpack is like 40, 50 pounds.
You should have been a DJ. I had to bring a whole van load of stuff,
know,
and
you've
I'm
got-
like, oh, a camera, awesome. See you guys later. The cake's been cut. I'm out.
I show up and I'm already sweating before I even show up to the bride's room to get bridal photos, and then throughout the day, you're just baking in the sun, you're sunburned, you're just sweating like a hound dog.
Our Alaska chapter doesn't have this problem. They don't have to worry about light. It's light all day or dark all
Well,
day.
at the right time of year anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not. It's
It
not
definitely
glamorous.
has its high moments.
No,
though.
I mean you gotta
there
learn.
are
You gotta
some-
learn to train yourself to like work for like 8 hours without food, because like you rarely ever like get a break to actually eat, and and
Yep,
when
I
you
used to
do
eat a lot just standing up.
yeah,
like,
when you do eat, you're like in the corner somewhere, like shoveling your food down as you're downloading files and trying to get ready for the next gig.
And that's the
You're up
shoot. Then
all
you've still
night
got to go
trying to-
home
yeah,
Yeah.
and spend all night.
Work on
and
everything. To,
yeah, not glamorous.
Yeah.
Not at all. I wish it were. I kind of wish that
It's-
it would be. But
Every once in a while you get to work with some really, really nice people, but
yeah,
it's
it's not
still-
a
it's still
party
work.
all the time.
Well,
on the other
and
hand, when I was a
even-
DJ, it was a
even-
party all the time, and I was the life of the party. But that's not
Even-
glamorous either. It was just as
that was
much
just
work.
a requirement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Even travel workshops and stuff, you get to go to these great locations, but you're working the whole time and preparing
And
in
hiking and-
advance and getting there and making sure that you're keeping the group together and keeping on top of the itinerary and getting all the content in that needs to be in and
come
chasing
back
the
more
light.
exhausted than I
Yeah.
go there usually.
Yeah, trying to make sure that you're at the location that you need to be when the light is right and things like that, and maximizing your use of every hour. And it's you're shooting sunrise, you're shooting sunset, you're trying to get some food in for dinner time before like star shots, things like that. So even those really serene looking landscape type outings can be pretty
I
arduous.
mean, you're getting bit by mosquitoes and sunburned, and it's not fun.
Yeah, wildlife
even
photography.
haps
If you
here.
talk to Lisa about her
getting-
wildlife
You forget about
photography, yeah.
tides coming in or going
yeah.
out. And
So moving on to the next one, are you too old to get into digital photography?
yes, I'm too old.
Too old, right?
Yeah.
So there's some film cameras here. This is
I
Steven's
recognize
camera.
that. I know how that works.
He carries it with him everywhere. So so you hear this a lot, like, oh, it's kind of past my time, or I'm too old, or I can't learn it, and I don't think that's necessarily true. I think anyone can pick this up, anyone can learn it. The settings are the same. If you tape over the screen, all the settings are the same as when I shot film.
Yep.
So if you've ever used the camera before, it's easier now than it was.
Yeah, I mean, you got to learn a little bit about processing in the computer, but that's, it's actually easier than,
Yeah.
sniffing chemicals in a dark room. So
Not as fun though.
it's not
sounds
fun.
There was no fun to be had sniffing those chemicals. I'm sorry.
But not everybody has to go to the degree of post-processing that we do. And he does none, so.
iPhone, Instagram,
So you can
filter,
shoot,
done.
if you're really just looking to shoot some photographs and get it as close as possible at the time of capture, and then do a little bit of cropping and maybe a little bit of white balance or something like that, that kind of stuff is a really quick learning curve. The more complex stuff takes a little bit longer, and if you don't have an interest in it, no big deal. But I mean, I think that's easy. The entry, just the quick editing is
just
easy.
Boom, 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 in and out.
Yeah,
Stuff you'd find in Picasso. Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
So, Stephen, we always hear you can't shoot in bad light. Is that true, or bad light is like your afternoon light?
I would say that's when the challenge starts. It's not that you can't shoot; it's that you got to start thinking. You got to really know how your camera works and what kind of settings you need to make different kinds of things happen. So it's just choosing. I'm not going to get the great panorama today. Instead, I'm going to maybe shift over and start working with macro.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to go look for small things, or I'm going to go people shooting. I can have just as much fun at the Grand Canyon at noon as I can at 5 in the morning as the sun is cracking up over the top of the rim.
Sure.
Bad weather is like the best time to go out and photograph.
It's absolutely awesome.
Everyone,
when you get the-
everyone cancels out on our photo walks. Like, oh, it's gonna rain next week. I'm like, next week? How do you
Like,
even
it'd be
know that? It's
great.
like 3% chance of rain, and they all cancel out. And it's like, I'm going out anyway. It's awesome. Glad we shot in Zion. It was-
I love bad light. I like no light personally,
Yeah.
because with no light, then I get to create my own, and it's even better.
Yeah, when we were up in Zion this past week, we had a cloudy, puffy cloud day. We had a totally overcast day that we were able to shoot all day. It was like a big soft box, and then we had a stormy day. And I was like, we had like every different kind of like, went to the same places, shot a different
Sure.
shot every day.
Yeah.
And it was great because the overcast day was just, no shadows, nothing. We were able to just get shots all
Clouds
afternoon.
are
Really
awesome.
nicely saturated
Rain is
colors from the
awesome.
rock and stuff. And then even in the midday overhead light in the steeper part of the canyons, that's the light you want, because you don't get light on your subject except for when it's overhead, and you get the really nice strong light coming through the leaves, the green leaves on the trees and stuff like that, and you get that bright color at the in the bed of the riverbed and stuff like that. So I think that it's just a matter of
shifting
knowing
gears.
how to work with the light that you've got.
Yeah, find shade
Absolutely.
or find make shade.
Make shade.
You could put whatever that thing you made is called up. That big
V-flats.
sail
My
thing.
Sky panel.
Sky panel
My
or
screen.
reflectors, different things, different tools.
Yeah.
So there's a few myths that we debunked, hopefully, and we'll help you guys out. And we're gonna have a second session of this down the road where we have about 7 more that you came up with too. So
Yeah.
we're gonna
6 or 7. I don't
six,
know how many
six
we
or
got there
7.
today.
This says there is no number 7 there on my notes. So
Oh, we didn't talk about
We didn't
the
talk-
rut.
Yeah.
yeah,
getting
so
out
we're-
of a creative
if
rut.
you're in a rut, yeah, if you're in a creative rut,
Yeah, so coming up soon, if you're in a creative rut, we're gonna have something more on that. So, and then we're gonna write. Everyone could write a letter to Apple because the iPad is being a little whiny today, and then this was all switched to not do that. So, if you could all write to Apple and let them know that we're having issues, we'd love to like not have that happen all the time.
I like it though. I could just sit and watch it for a long time.
That's the danger. It sucks
Myths.
you in.
let's
Can
just
you-
watch it.
Here we go.
All right, everyone. Just
Cheers.
Cheers.
So
Cheers.
Scott has a new hat, by the way. If you haven't noticed, this is new for.
This is not a new hat.
This is
is
from
actually
last
an old
episode.
hat.
Scott has a used hat.
He's gonna.
It's an
he
old.
doesn't
It's
use
actually,
that. He found it on someone in the gutter. He's like, "Hey, you need that?" I like
Someone
it.
in.
dude, I
different.
always wear a hat.
I know it's different.
It's my signature.
He threw us for a loop, like a new
So you
rug
get
and
the
a
car
new
that
hat in
goes
one
with it?
episode. It was like, wow.
Did you get the midlife crisis car that goes with it? Little.
I need a midlife
A
crisis
roadster?
car. I would love
Like
that.
a Ferrari.
That
or
would take you
something.
right
I
out of
would
your
love
rut,
that.
wouldn't it?
It would. I'm not really in a rut. But
I'd like a McLaren.
So, so back from our little interlude here. But so put in the comments below what myths you think we're wrong about. Tell us how we are great, how we suck, and we'll see you on the next episode out there. So,
dude, you
cheers.
suck.
You suck.
You suck.
We love the people that tell us that.